Hi, this is Umesh, the co-founder of Kubera. By now, we already know how to set up a portfolio in Kubera. Like, for example, how to add assets, how to organize them into sheets and sections based on how you want to see them in your portfolio. Once you have added everything, how to go to the asset details to see, for example, this is a brokerage. So this is where you come to see the holdings. Your value history, your returns tab where you have your cash flow and IRR, and more flags for reporting. Once that's done, you have your dashboard where you can see the aggregated numbers like net worth, assets, cash on hand, and your charts. And recap is where you go to see more reports on how your asset values changed over time. And fast forward where you can put a bunch of rules to your portfolio and see how things are going to change in the future. You can invite other users like your family members or assistants to collaborate on your Kubera account. In my case, I have shared my account with my partner. We both have our own portfolios in this account that we manage separately. Today, we are going to focus on how you can have multiple such portfolios based on ownership and entity and track their own net worth. And at the same time, link them up to see their combined net worth. In Kubera, we call them nested portfolios. Nested portfolios also give me granular access control of my portfolios. So instead of sharing my account and giving access to all my portfolios, I can create a portfolio and share it with just one person for better collaboration and privacy. So let's start with the example of having a business portfolio that I want to track separately. So here I have created two portfolios called holding company and subsidiary because I want to track their net worth separately. But now in this case, I want the assets in subsidiary portfolio to be part of the holding company. So let's see how I can link this portfolio, subsidiary portfolio, to the holding company portfolio. So I go to the holding company portfolio. So see, I have some assets here, Tesla, Apple, and some other assets. And if you go to subsidiary, you can see that I have some Amazon shares, Apple shares, and some other assets in subsidiary. Now I go back to holding company and I click on add asset, link another portfolio, and then hit on subsidiary. And I can link the subsidiary portfolio to this one. So now my total assets of the holding company has gone up. And if you go to recap, you can see that it now shows assets from the subsidiary portfolio in my net worth report. And now if you go to the portfolio tree, you can see all your portfolios at the root level, but you can see that subsidiary portfolio is linked to the holding company. And there is no restriction in how deep you can go. Subsidiary can have its own subsidiary and so on. Okay, now let's take the example of another portfolio, which is a business that I run in partnership with a friend of mine, Joe, which also has some assets that I track separately for this business. But actually, this portfolio should be part of my holding company portfolio. So I would like to add that portfolio to this. So it got added. But like I told you, I run this business in partnership with my friend. So what I have to do is I have to go and enter my ownership as 50%. Hence, the value gets corrected. Now I'll enter the cash flow for this asset. So on 1st Jan 2020, there was an initial capital investment of 1 million. And by 31st March 2024, the business has generated an income of $250,000. So in plain English, I run a business in partnership with Joe. I track the balance sheet of that business in another portfolio in Kubera along with Joe, which means Half of the net worth of that portfolio should belong to my holding company. So what I did was I linked that portfolio to my holding company portfolio, entered my ownership, and then the cash flow so that I can see an IRR. Now I know if my business has been profitable compared to passive investing in an index. Let's go back to the portfolio tree, and now you can see that both my subsidiary and my real estate business with Joe are linked to the holding company. Okay, now let's take an example of an advisor managed portfolio. So let's say I have a few assets in my main portfolio that are managed by an advisor, and we want to collaborate on those assets, but I don't want the advisor to see my rest of my assets. So what I have to do is I have to now move some assets from my main portfolio to another portfolio that I will specifically share with my advisor. To do that, I have to go to my main portfolio. I have a sheet where I've kept all the assets that are managed by my advisor. What I'll do is I'll move them to this new portfolio called advisor managed. But what I'll do is I will link that portfolio back to my main portfolio so that those assets are still part of my main portfolio. Now what I'll do is I'll go to the other portfolio called advisor managed, where I have all the assets managed by my advisor. I can now invite the advisor to this portfolio by entering his information and sending an invite so that we can collaborate on this portfolio with total privacy. Now going back to the portfolio tree, I can see that my advisor managed portfolio is linked to my main portfolio called Clark. So I've told you that my advisor managed portfolio is shared with my advisor, fully collaborate on that. But now I have another portfolio which is called Trust for my kid. This portfolio, I want to share it with my kid only for viewing, not for collaboration. And also this should be part of my main portfolio. So that's what we are going to see next. So I'll go to this portfolio called Trust for Kid, and I click on share and invite my kid, but only with view permission. And at the same time, I go to my main portfolio. Maybe I'll create a new sheet and then link that portfolio to my main portfolio so that those assets are also part of my main portfolio. Again, going back to portfolio tree, now I have two portfolios linked to my main portfolio. Now what I want is to link holding company also to my main portfolio. So I'll go here and click on holding company, and it is linked. Now when we go to the portfolio tree, you can see that my holding company, which has two other portfolios linked to it, is also part of my main portfolio. Now here I have my own portfolio and my partner's portfolio. But for me to see our combined net worth, I have to link both these portfolio to a family portfolio, right? So that's what I'm going to do now. I am in the family portfolio. I'll first link my own portfolio, Clark, and then I add my partner's portfolio, and that's when I get our combined assets and the combined net worth. If you go to recap, I can see all the assets across all my portfolios in one place. Now when I go back to the portfolio tree, I can see the new structure of my portfolios. So to summarize, nested portfolios allow me to have multiple portfolios that I want to track net worth separately, but at the same time link them up to see their combined net worth and combined reports across all the portfolios. It also allows me to share a particular portfolio with the people I want to collaborate with, or maybe just for viewing purposes.